to not just do it, but to do it in a way that really makes a kingdom difference. And so I always get excited when y'all get to meet each other, y'all get to connect with each other, and because I think it's a blessing and I think it makes a huge difference. And so I'm super, super excited about that. All right. So we're getting ready to get started. Tonight we're going to be talking about Easter follow-up strategies. My goal is for us to go for about 45 minutes. All right. So if you're just joining us, take a moment in the chat, in the comments, let us know where you're from. I just want to recognize you. I just want to honor your presence by identifying you and just saying what's up to you, and also creating an opportunity for you to connect with some more people. One of the things that I'm super, super excited about, and this is really raw and really fresh, but one of the things I'm really excited about is the partnerships that we have already seen created through our church systems boot camp with different pastors who have been able to connect. But coming up really soon, my prayer and my plan is to create a strategy that will allow us to do that way more intentionally. And so we're even looking at the possibility, or I'm praying about the possibility of being able to help you by plugging you in with other pastors who may be in your area, who may be close to you, maybe in your region, whatever it may be. So I think that's going to be a really, really valuable thing that I'm super, super looking forward to. All right. So tonight, what you came to learn is you came to learn about the follow-up strategies. All right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. And here's the elephant in the room. Most of the people who came to visit you on Easter Sunday will not be coming back this weekend. You know, this weekend is often one of the most disappointing and one of the most disappointing attendance weekends that many churches see. And the reason for that is because we put so much energy. And this is, if y'all see something coming in, it's just Latoya. She's trying to help me out here. She's setting up the other camera for me. But one of the things that happens is that we put so much energy, so much effort into Easter weekend that what happens is that there's a huge letdown. As a matter of fact, most of you who are pastors, who are leaders, you didn't go, you didn't work on nothing today, right? Why? Because you were tired, you were exhausted, right? And good to see you, Pastor Bennett. I see you on YouTube. Good to see you from Miami Gardens, Florida. Good to see you, right? Some of you, you were tired from Easter because you put so much energy, you put so much effort, you put so much into making Easter happen. And so one of the things that happens, number one, is that you have a bit of a letdown, right? You're not thinking as much about the upcoming week. It's back to regular schedule as far as you're concerned. But here's the truth of the matter. This weekend is one of the most valuable weekends for guests that you could ever have, because for them this is a new opportunity. All right, some of you may have saw this. I put this out earlier today, but I want you to think about this weekend, and I want you to think about this analogy. Let's imagine that you were having an anniversary party. You're having a party at your house and you invite all your friends and family to come over and to celebrate your anniversary. You're excited, you're celebrating another year of marriage, another year of what God has done in your life, and so you invite people to come over. Well, people who love you, all these people who you invited, many of them are going to come to that event. But guess what? Most of them won't show up at your house next week. You know why they won't show up at your house next week? Because they know that your anniversary was a special event. And whether we like it or not, people view church as a special event. They view church as a one-off special event where people come out, people get engaged, people plug in. It's not necessarily seen as an ongoing kind of thing. And because it's not seen as an ongoing, everyday, keep going kind of thing, people are not naturally just going to show back up to church. There are some people, especially in this post-Christian space we live in, there are some people, their full assumption was that by coming to church on Easter, they did their duty. By coming to church on Easter, they did something really significant. And they may not be thinking about the value of coming back again. And so what you're going to need to do in order to buck that trend is that you've got to invite them to come back. Is that you've got to be intentional about saying to them, I'm glad you came for that day, but now it's time for us to start the real work, and we want you to come back again. All right. And so that's what I'm going to help you do tonight. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about what it would mean for your church to see that group come back again. All right. So here's an even better way of saying that I want to wrestle with. All right. How would it feel if all your Easter guests came back this weekend? right? I want you to let me know real quick. Drop it in the chat. Just give me a one-word answer. One word. How would it feel if all your Easter guests came back this weekend? All right. Let me know in one word. Drop that in the chat. A one-word answer. How would it feel, man? Would that be exciting? Would that be, overwhelming? Would it be amazing? Would it be life-changing? How would it feel if all your guests came back this week? Right? Came back, and this coming Sunday, you had as many new people as you did this past Sunday, right? How would that feel? A wonderful, amazing, transformative, right? I see some of you. Great. All right. I know it would feel something, right? It would be a big deal to most of us, right? To most of you, it would be a big deal to have all the people who came to your church this weekend come back again. Here's how I think you would feel, right? So I just wanted to find a picture that was like, man, how can I put into words like how people might feel, if their guests came back. So here's what I came up with. Here's my picture of you if all the guests come back, right? Isn't that good? Like, oh my goodness. Like I could just see your face where you're just like overwhelmed and amazed at what God has done and what God is doing, because it's like, man, look at this. Like all these people came back, right? I could see your face just like blown away because all these people came back. And so then if you know how amazing it would feel, right? And it wouldn't just feel great because of your vanity. It would just feel great because, you want to feel like you're better than this or better than that. It wouldn't just feel great because, you want to be able to get on social media and tell people how many people came. It would feel great because you know that if you get people to come back a second time after Easter, now you're stepping into a place where you can really begin to navigate life change with these people. You can really help them take a next step. You can really start helping them make disciples. Because here's the truth. We know that most of the people we saw this weekend were attendees. They were attenders, right? But now we're thinking about this could be the one that helps us make disciples. And so this is how I think you would feel. And so because this is how I think you would feel, this is going to be our backdrop for the rest of this presentation. All right. So I'm going to take about the next 30 minutes and I'm going to walk down these 5 simple steps. All right. So those of you who are in our boot camp, many of these you've already seen, but I want to give you a refresher and I want to walk through some of this. And if we have time at the end, I'll answer questions all throughout. How about we do that? All right. So as I'm talking, if you have a question about something, just go ahead and drop it in the chat. And that way I can just hit it as I'm going so that we can keep on going. I know some of you, you had a long day yesterday. And so it's testing you to even be active right now. Some of you just rested all day because it was busy anyway. But wherever you are, I want to honor the time. And to be honest with you, today is the first day of 75 Hard for me. Y'all know I started the journey and I had to stop because I had a hernia surgery and I'm picking it back up again. I've already had my first workout. I'm working on my gallon of water. And I'm getting ready for my next workout and all this kind of stuff like that. And so, I want to get to that as well. So I want to make sure that we can get it done. All right. So let's jump in. All right. You want to follow up. You want to get people to come back. Here's the big picture. All right. Here's the overarching thing. If you want people to come back, you got to invite them. If you want them to come back, you got to invite them. You need to explicitly let them know, hey, I want you to come back. Right? If you think about this from the perspective of a business, and I know the church is not necessarily a business, but I want you to think about this. If you knew that there was somebody who was willing to pay you $1 million for a product, and they came in and asked you questions and said, man, this was really good. I'm very interested. This was awesome. I appreciate, what you spoke to me about. I love it. It was great. And then they said, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye. And they left because you knew that they loved what you had to offer. And they were willing to pay you $1 million. Want me to tell you what I bet you would do? Is you would follow up with them. You would reach out to them again and say, hey, I know you were interested, in paying me $1 million. Why don't you come back? Let's talk again, right? I would love to follow up with you and have another conversation. I think we ought to do the same thing in the church. You need to follow up with people because every one of those guests is a potential changed life. that could really find Jesus and find transformation through your church. All right. So a couple of things. All right. Number one, I'm going to start with the first thing, and this is kind of in past tense because you should have already done this, but I just want to hit it just because I know it's important, and I want you to have this going forward. You always collect guest information. It is impossible to follow up with somebody if you don't know how to get in contact with them. I made this mistake 2 years ago as a pastor. 2 years ago, I knew this, right? But I was coaching a team and we were so excited about giving out gift bags and we were so excited about passing out invite cards and we were so excited about all those different things. And I created the connection card that people had to fill out, right? But I did not get explicit. And I believe I shared it, but I did not get explicit with our team to say, hey, do not give out this bag until you get a card first, right? I want you to visualize that the connection card is $1 and the gift bag is whatever the person is buying. I will give you the bag when you give me the connection card. And we made this mistake 2 years ago, and we had all these people come to our church, and they all got gift bags, and the kids all went to Easter egg hunts, and they all had all this fun. And when we got into the staff meeting on Monday, ready to make phone calls with this detailed follow-up plan that we had put together, we didn't have any names or phone numbers or emails or names of the people to call. We had nothing. And so the first step is you've always got to collect guest information, all right? So if you've done your due diligence and you already have your guest information, awesome. Your next step, the first step for you will be to make sure that you go ahead and get that information into whatever software you use as your database, all right? Whatever software you're using, where you keep your database, where you keep names, you keep phone numbers, and you keep emails, all right? If you don't have one right now, that's okay. Put it in Excel. Go ahead and put in a Google Sheet, right? Whatever it is, just put it in a place where you can see all of it in one place, where you can have access and grant access to other people who can then go in there and see everything in one place. That's super important, all right? You want to go ahead and make sure you get all the data in one place so that you're ready to follow up. You and your team are both ready to follow up with people. All right. So that's step number one, is you've always got to collect guest information. All right. Real quick in the chat, let me know if you collected information on your first time guest. If you did, I just want you to put got it in the chat. Put got it. I got it. Just say we got it in the chat. Let me know that you got it. You collected information. If you didn't get it, just put don't got it. And we're going to lament with you, but we're going to prepare for the next one. All right. If you didn't get it, put didn't get it. If you got it, put got it in the chat. Let me see. Okay. I see got it. I see got it. I see got it in sessions. I see got it on over here on StreamYard, YouTube, Facebook, in our groups. All right. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right. You got the information. So now you got to put it in a database. All right. This is one of the bottlenecks that many churches go through. One of the bottlenecks that many churches go through is that they, even when they collect the information, they're so slow in putting it in the system, or they don't put it in the system, that the whole process gets stuck right there. That's where a lot of processes get stuck, is that you got all them cards, and what feels like excitement on Sunday, like, oh my goodness, look at all these cards we got, feels like frustration the next day if you got to manually enter those cards. All right. So here's what I'm gonna say to you. Go ahead, put the information in there. That's right. I said, I didn't say go ahead. I said, go ahead, put the information in the database and get it done. Because once you get it done, so much of it you can automate. All right. Marika said we don't got it. That's okay. I lament with you, but listen, if you stay the course, we'll help you be better for next time. All right. We'll help you get this in place so that you never have to go through this again. And so for every other thing, because Mother's Day is around the corner, the summer, all these things are coming. Fall launch, we're going to start preparing for fall launch soon. Last year we did the Game Changer series and you all loved it. It was a hit. And so we're getting ready to start building out another series for you. So Marika, we're going to hook you up. We've got some options for you to help you out. But we're going to make sure you get it. Akia said, we're slow at responding. All right, look, I'm going to help you with that, right? Because here's the beauty of it, is that once you get it all in the system, It's easy to automate from there. It's just a click of a few buttons from there. But you got to get it in the system. All right, that's the first thing. You got to get in the system. So go ahead and get those cards input. If it's too many for you to do by yourself, call in reinforcements. All right, some help. Take pictures of all the cards and just send those pictures to some people on your team and say, hey, I need you to input this for me. Help me input this, whatever it is, however you got to do it. And in the future, you can use digital forms. So that way, that takes even another step out. All right, you can use digital forms in the future where you can do a QR code, you can do it via text, and you can just have them do it right there in front of you, or you can have an iPad at your welcome center where people can do it right there. They can do a digital card. All of those different things are options, but for now, go ahead and get it in the system. All right, so that's step number one. Collect the info, get it in the system. All right, step number two. Now, the thing you want to do the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you call each person within 48 hours, all right? Which means at this point, we are well past 24 hours. For most of us, we're coming up on 30 hours, 32 hours or so since our last interaction with them. And so what that means is by tomorrow at noon, you need to call the people who came to visit. I know. Some of y'all took today off because you was tired, and I understand. I get it. I understand it completely. But this means that tomorrow morning needs to be a busy day because you need to make sure that every person who came to visit gets a phone call. After 48 hours, the experience becomes more and more vague in the eyes and ears and hearts of the people who had it. So you need to call them before no later than tomorrow evening. All right, I'm going to cut y'all some slack because I know y'all was tired today. But you got to call those people tomorrow. You need to call them and you need to say to them, hey, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. We're glad that you came. Can I answer any questions for you? Did you enjoy yourself? Listen, we love to have you come back. Did the kids have a good time? Well, listen, we're trying to raise up the next generation, whatever it may be. You want to make sure you call. All right. And if you don't know what to say with your call, at the end of this call, I'm going to show you how you can get access to our scripts. All right. For those of you who are part of the Church Systems Bootcamp, you already have these. But if you're not a part of the Church Systems Bootcamp, then I'm going to show you how you can get those scripts, and I'm going to put them in front of you, make them available to you. So that way you can download those scripts and literally you can follow those scripts word for word, or you can take our scripts and edit them and make it your own. And we'll make sure that you can take the next step. All right. But you need to call the people tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow, you need to call them. All right. You need to call them. Make sure they get a phone call from you and make sure that you take the time to let them know that you appreciate them coming. And I'm going to tell you this, pastors, if you're a senior leader or if you're a part of the executive team, this call is going to mean even more if it comes from you. Now, if you have an overwhelming number of calls that need to be made, hey, you got to spread them things out. But I'm going to say it this way. If you're a senior leader, if it were me, if I were a senior leader, I would commit to I could make up to 50 calls myself, right? 50 would probably be the top of the chain for me. I would make up to 50 calls. If you got 50 or less, you can make those calls. All right. If you got 50 or less, you can make those calls yourself. Okay. But if you got more than that, spread them out and get some help. All right. Now that's my number. You decide your number, right? You can say 25, whatever it is, but you need to call all the people who came to visit on yesterday, need to get a call from you before 5 p.m. tomorrow. All right. You need to make sure you reach out to them. If you don't get them, leave a voicemail. You can follow up, with other stuff. I'm going to give you some more, but you can do both. All right. Great question, Akia. She says, should we do phone call and not a text? Well, the beauty of this thing is number 3 is that you're also going to send an email and a text. So we're going to do both of them. Both of them. BOFFUM, both of them. Okay. And here's why we're going to do both. The reason that we're going to do both is because you want to communicate to them that this is personal. A phone call is much more personal. Like when you do a text and an email, people are gonna know, man, this probably went out to everybody. Right? Now, if you can customize it, depending on the system you're using, if you're using Church Hub, in Church Hub, you can customize the first name. You can customize a bunch of different stuff. Like if you wanted to, you could get as detailed as customizing the person's name and their kid's name in the text message if you wanted to, right? So you can do it however you want to, right? But the phone call is going to be personal. When you make a phone call, you're going to say, hey, Akia, this is Henry from Simple Systems. Listen, it was so great to see you and to have you with us yesterday. I really pray that you were blessed. You had a great time. I just wanted to call and say thank you, man. I really thank you all for coming. And I would love to see you all again this weekend. So if you guys are available and you can come and be with us again this weekend, I would love to see if we can get it on the books for us to go to coffee together, right? You can say so much and you can share your tone, you can share your heart, you can do some things in a phone call that you can't do in a text message, all right? And so you want to do both though. So after you do the phone call, now you want to send a text message as well saying, hey, this is such and such, this is Pastor Henry. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Man, I hope you had an amazing time. This Easter was great, right? So the text is going to be short, but in the email, you can elaborate. What are you celebrating? That email, right? And I won't go into a whole lot of detail here, but I want to give you this. That email is an opportunity for you to share the values of your church. It's an opportunity for you to let them know this is what we value as a church, right? So are you celebrating that? Is the biggest win for you the number of people who were in the room? Is the biggest win for you the number of people who said yes to Jesus? Is the biggest win to you the number of families who got to worship together? Like whatever it is, you get to put that language into that email. And so in that email, what you want to say and what you want to communicate is, here are the things that I'm celebrating. Here's the thing at our church. Here's the thing that our leaders are celebrating today. And we're celebrating because you're a part of that. You're a part of that, right? And you can connect it to the mission. So I'm going to give you an example, right? I may say, man, yesterday was so amazing. One of the most amazing things to me was watching the moms and dads with the smiles on their faces as their kids did whatever they did, whether y'all had an egg hunt or they gave speeches or whatever it is. You know, it deeply, and I would say it deeply connects to our mission, because one of our goals is to raise disciples, and to see two generations operating together was amazing, because I know what it feels like to be a parent and to worry about whether or not I'm doing a good job of positioning my children to walk with Jesus in the future. Well, I want to commend you for being a part of that, whether you're a single adult or you've got kids. You were a part of helping us build Christian families, whatever it is, right? You communicate your heart. That's the big thing. Communicate your heart. And as you communicate your heart, I believe it will be an absolutely amazing opportunity for feedback. All right. So you want to make sure that you text and email. All right. So we're going to do the phone call, we're going to do text, and we're going to do an email. So we just touched three things. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to do all three. All right, all three of those things. All right, if you with me, drop the number 3 in the chat. Drop the number 3 in the chat. All right, we're gonna do all three. Drop the number 3 in the chat. All right, drop the number 3 in the chat. All right, I see y'all. 3's in the chat. All right. So now I kind of just tricked you a little bit, because I'm going to give you a fourth thing to do. And hear me. You might be thinking this is overkill. And I'm telling you, it absolutely is. I'm telling you, it is absolutely overkill. But I'm telling you, it works. All right. So here's number 4. Is that the fourth thing you want to do is you want to send them a handwritten note. All right. Listen, I'm putting y'all to work. Listen, you got some work to do. Right? You got some work to do. And look, I'm going to give you some grace. So if you don't get this one out, by the next couple of days, get it out by the end of the week. All right, so here's what you're going to do with this one. With this handwritten note, what you're going to do is that you're going to write a note on a card, right? You're going to get some thank you cards. You can get them from a local, office supply store. You can even get them from Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has them. You can go and I think you can buy them the card 6 for $1. They come with the envelopes and everything, right? But you're gonna take that blank card that says thank you on the front, and on the inside, you're just gonna write a note, right? And you can write it, you can get other people to help you write it. Just gonna put together a script and have everybody write the same note in the card, right? Something to the tune of, thank you so much for coming. We were grateful to get a chance to meet you. We were grateful to get a chance to connect with you, and we look forward to what God is going to do, and so on, blah, 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 right? You're going to write that thing out. And then on the envelope, you're just going to address it to them, and you're just going to pop it in the mailbox. And the idea is that if you put it in the mail, say tomorrow, and they're local, they'll get it this weekend before it's time to come back to church. Because another thing you want to do is you want to invite them back to church, right? So if you have an invite card or a QR code or something like that, you can put that in the envelope as well. But if not, you could just say, hey, look, I would love for you to be our guest again this weekend. And if you come this weekend, please be sure to find me so that we can plan. I would love to plan coffee with you, right? Whatever it may be. But you want to send a handwritten note. And I'm telling you, I know this is overkill, but hear me. This is one of the fastest ways to double the size of your church. This is assuming you've got a lot of other things in place, that you're preaching the gospel, you're praying, you're loving and caring for people, right? This is one of the things that makes a difference, all right? This is one of the things that makes a difference, all right? Great point. Pastor Jackie said, I didn't get an address. I got name, phone, and email, and that's okay because that's the bare minimum of what we want to get, all right? So here's the next thing you can do, right? When you make that phone call, if you happen to get a person on the phone, you can say to them, hey, I want to send you something in the mail. Could I get a mailing address for you so that I can send this to you? You can say that in the email. You can say that in the text message. Hey, can I get can I get a mailing address for you? I want to send you a gift just to thank you for coming, right? And you send them a thank you note. If you don't have that on them, just go ahead and ask them for it, send it to them, and boom, now you got it. All right. So if you don't have it, that's fine. You can get it. But if you got it, you want to send that note thanking people for coming, because again, it's going to be overkill. All right. This is again a simple step. It can feel like a lot, but eventually what you want to do is you want to get in a rhythm where you have a team of volunteers to write these cards in advance, and you just keep a stack of 50 of them just sitting in the church. And so whenever a new person comes in, you pop it in an envelope, address it, and you pop it in the mail, right? You already have them done. But it starts with the script. It starts with the script, all right? So you want to send a handwritten note saying thank you for coming and inviting them to come back again, all right? Now, what I would do, and again, you have to do it the way that works for you, but one of the things that I would often do is I would say to people, hey, if you can come and join us this weekend, my family and I are we like to go to Buffalo Wild Wings after church, and I would love for you to join us. Let me know if you can come. And listen, I know I had at least, I don't even know what number to put on it. I had a ton of couples to take me up on that offer and say, oh, okay, yeah, we come in, let's go to church after. And we would go sit in Buffalo Wild Wings every Sunday. My kids didn't complain because they liked the wings and the fries and all that kind of stuff, and the TVs everywhere and playing the little game on the screen. And we would just go and sit in there with the different people and just connect with them and do our best to turn them into regular attendees. All right. And then number 5, last but not least, look at this, y'all. I'm ahead of schedule. God, so good. You need to have a discipleship class next step. You need to have a discipleship class next step. All right. So when people come in and they plug in and they join and they connect, you need to have a next step to move them to. This is another bottleneck that a lot of churches run into, is that you get so excited about getting the people to come in, and you even get so excited about getting them to join, that once they actually join, you don't have anything for them to do to take a next step. So you need to have a next step. And the next step that I suggest is an online discipleship class. And the reason I suggest an online discipleship class is because it allows for people to take immediate action. They don't have to wait on you. They don't have to wait for a schedule. They don't have to wait for any of that stuff. They can go. Now, if you have an in-person discipleship class already scheduled and we've already worked on doing that, then all you've got to do is now you've got to be communicating to people what the next step is. All right. You can communicate this next step in your email. You can communicate this next step in your phone call. You can communicate this next step in your text message, whatever it is, via text message. You can do that so that you can walk people through it. All right. Here's the beauty of follow-up is that follow-up is not a one-time thing, y'all. Follow-up is not a one-time thing. Listen, I'm working through a book. Here's a book that I'm working through. All right. It's called Coach Builder. All right, can y'all see that? I think y'all can see that. Coach Builder, right? And one of the things that I love about this book, all right, a friend of mine who's another church consultant and coach like me recommended it to me. And I started reading it on my way back from a 15-hour road trip. And so at this point, I've listened to it 1.5 times, and I just got the hardcover in the mail today, so I'm about to go through it, right? But in this book, the author talks about 8 steps to building a profitable coaching business, right? Talks about how we ought to serve the people we're called to serve. And I picked up the book, and of the 8 steps, I finished the 3rd one today. Right, so I'm on the 4th step already. Now, some of this stuff I already had in place, but I remade and redid a lot of stuff, right? In order to move things forward. And I'm saying this to you because one of the things he says in the book, he says, whatever you're doing, he says, I can almost guarantee you will be successful if you keep on pursuing it. He said, if you put the foundational things in place and you just keep pursuing it, he's like, man, you'll get there. And I'm telling you the same thing. Like, it's follow-up is not a one-time thing. It is a way of life. It is you saying, I want to keep on connecting with people. Follow-up is a lifelong thing. One of the reasons that I believe that we miss out as a church on the number of new disciples that we could have and that we could reach is because we only plan for the short term. We only plan for the people who make quick decisions. And the truth of the matter is that some of the people that you're reaching out to, some of the people that you're connecting with, they need to talk to you and hear from you over time before they decide that they're going to go all in and take the next step. So in business, what we say is, I want to stay connected with you until the moment that you run into a problem that you need help with. And the moment you run into that problem that you need help with, I want to be sitting right there saying, hey, I'm ready to help. I got your back. Right? And you think about that spiritually. You want to be close enough to people so that in the moment that the Holy Spirit pulls on their heartstrings and says to them, it's time for you to step up, it's time for you to make a change, it's time for you to come back to me, that your church has been there all along. And that's the long game of follow-up. It's, yes, I want you to come back this weekend, but it's also, I want to email you something that's helpful every week. Every week, I want to post something on social media that's helpful, right? And we talk about this so much in our church. This is boot camp. And it's not just about, just keeping busy and having a lot of stuff going on all the time. But the way that social media can work in your favor is that it helps you stay in front of people. When you provide things and you provide information and content that's helpful for people and they watch it, you keep seeing it, right? There's this video game that people play on TikTok. I was watching this dude play it. I stopped on the video for like 10 minutes just because it just drew me in, right? Man, by the time I looked up, now every time I log into TikTok, they show me one of his videos. Why? Because by sitting there and watching it, I said to them, I like this content. Right? There's these 2 apologists, these 2 guys who are just really strong in apologetics that I watch all the time on TikTok. Every time I log in, TikTok shows me one of their videos. Why? Because I said I value it, and they're constantly putting out content that the algorithm is showing me. This is a long game of follow-up. So I'm right here. I gave you the phone call. I gave you the text. I gave you the email. I gave you the handwritten note. the discipleship class. But another part of that is also your social media. It's posting on social media. You know, one of the reasons that a lot of people showed up this past weekend is because you did a lot of inviting. Like their need to fit into this natural rhythm that they have of, hey, it's Easter, I'm supposed to go to church. That desire met with your invitation. And when those two things came together, it created an opportunity. All right. And what I'm saying to you is you can create those opportunities consistently. Think about it this way. What would happen if what happens on Easter becomes a regular thing for your church? Because that's exactly what it looks like in some of the fastest growing churches in America. Every Sunday for them looks like Easter. Every Sunday for them looks like new people showing up. Every Sunday for them looks like, hey, here come some people who we haven't seen before. Every Sunday looks like we're inviting. Every Sunday looks like them posting on social media. Every Sunday looks like them getting excited about what's coming up this weekend. Every Sunday. And I watched some of you all did a great job. Like you posted, not only we want to see you this weekend, you posted about what you were preaching. You posted about the series you were starting. And I know I saw Pastor Jackie at least. It started a new series on Sunday, which is one of the things that I suggested because people love to see a loop close. And so if you start a series on a big day and they get the opening message of it, some people are going to be intrigued by, man, I want to see where this goes. I want to see how this finishes. I want to see how this ends. And so it just draws them in. We hate an open story. We'll complain about a movie that doesn't end right. If you don't solve the story at the end of the movie, we mad. Like, no, man, you got to let me know how it ends. I want to see what happened next, right? That's the same way. And so you've got to make sure that you're postured and positioned to stay in front of people. And so what you got to do is that the effort that you put into Easter, if you want the results of Easter to become normal for you, then the effort of Easter has to become normal. The effort of Resurrection Sunday has to become normal for you. It has to become how you constantly and consistently reach out to people to help them come closer. All right. So I'll open up a few minutes for some questions. All right. You got questions. If I can answer questions about one of those three things, let me know. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all what I did. All right. So I know that some of you have been asking about specific resources and how to do certain stuff and where to find certain things and all this. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm building something for you. All right. So what I am building for you is I'm building a resource where I'm going to give you all of the scripts to do the things that I just told you to do. All right. So if you're on this call and you're saying like, man, I really want those scripts, I want to be able to do this, so on and so on. If you're in the boot camp, you can go into the boot camp and you can pretty much find all of that stuff already. All right. But if you're not in the boot camp and you're saying, look, I want to know how to do this. If you're not in the boot camp and you want to get the scripts to make all this happen, you want to get the scripts that will show you and give you step-by-step guidance on how to do this. All right. And as a bonus, one of the things that I'm also gonna give you, and I'm gonna give you this for free. All right. I'm gonna give you this for free. All right. I'm gonna give you this bonus for free. All right. For a free bonus, I'm gonna give you the video training that goes along with this follow-up. All right, I'm gonna give you the video training, which means that I'm gonna give you an extended version of what I just shared with you. What I just shared with you, I'm gonna give it to you in an extended version so that you can actually watch me teach through this, watch how we talk through this as we prepared for Easter last year. And I'm gonna give you the resources that help you take the next steps, that help you walk through and help you go forward. All right. So if you look in the chat, it should be coming up in the chat box. There's a link. Again, if you're in the boot camp, you just go to the boot camp and you can find this in our replays. It may be in some of our replays. You can find some of it in our follow-up. All of those things are already there. But if you're not in our Church Sisters boot camp and you want to get the scripts, if you click that link, I'm going to give you the scripts. And when we first did this, it was $97. We did a live webinar and people registered. It was awesome. And I would give this to you, but I want to honor the people who made the sacrifice to support that in the early days. So I'm gonna give it to you for $27, right? So basically, I'm giving it to you for the cost of delivery, just what it's gonna cost me to deliver it to you, all right? So when you do that for $27, what I'm gonna do tomorrow, I'm going to upload every single script. I'm going to upload customized scripts just for Easter. I'm going to put it in there. It'll be in your inbox tomorrow. And so all you've got to do is click that link, and you can register, and you can go in there and you can grab it from there, and I'll put it in there for you tomorrow. All the scripts, everything you need. And I'm going to give you the boot camp. There you go, Pastor Grissom. Absolutely. Apostle Grissom. Go ahead, go into boot camp, man. You got it already. You can go in there and grab it. But here's what I'm going to do. Even the edited part that I do today, I'm going to upload into the boot camp tomorrow as well. All right. So I'm going to put it all in one place. I'm going to give you the exact handwritten script. I'm going to give you the exact email. I'm going to give you the exact post-Easter. So I'm going to customize it for you. And so all you've got to do is look at it and make some small tweaks to it. I'm going to upload it for you tomorrow. All right. So I'm going to give you all the scripts that you need in the form of like a course. I'll put them in there, but it'll literally be a copy and paste. So you copy it, paste it, and you got it. All right. Is that valuable for anybody? If you think that's something that is high value to you, just put me in the chat. Put me in the chat. If you think that's going to be valuable, put me in the chat. So let me see it. Me. If that's you. All right. Because what I'm going to do is that I've already got these, but I'm going to customize them. I'm going to edit them for you. I'm going to upload them tomorrow. All right. So, but if you want it, go ahead and register, because a part of this is, if it's not going to be of value, especially to those of you who are not in our boot camp, if this isn't going to be of value to you, then I won't even bother putting it together. I'll just drop it in the boot camp and we'll cover it. We can walk through it in a coaching call like we have in the past, and I don't even have to wrestle with it, right? The only reason I'm making this link is for people who are not in our boot camp. All right. And so if you're not in our boot camp and you want access to these things, just click the link. And if you click the link, then I will give it to you. I will make it available for you, and I'll make sure you got it. All right. Some of you on Facebook, I'm trying to get over so I can drop it on my page as well, because I don't think the link went to my page. So I'm going to drop it there. But if this is high value for you, while I'm doing this, just drop me in the chat. And if you have any questions, also go ahead and drop your questions real quick. All right, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, so that way once I'm done posting this around, you'll have it, and I can go ahead and answer your questions. All right. So if that's you got a question, go ahead and drop it real quick. Let me know if you want to grab it. Again, if you click that button and you go on that page, you'll see our offers list. You'll see one that's called follow up. That's the one you want to click. You want to go to follow up. When you click the follow up, once you go to checkout, it's literally going to walk you through the process of checking out. And tomorrow, I'm going to upload the resource for you. All right. So it'll be in your inbox tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow, I will put it in your inbox probably tomorrow morning, and I'll make sure you have it. But again, I want to make sure it's a value. If it's not a value for those of you who aren't in our boot camp and feel like it's not worth it, then I won't bother with it. But if you want to get all the scripts to do these things, if you want the phone call script so that you can tell your volunteers exactly what to say when they get people on the phone, if you want the text script so you know exactly what to text people to follow up from Easter to try to get them to come back next week, if you want the email script, if you want to know exactly what it is that you should email people in order to get them to come back, again, it's going to be in there. And then as a bonus, I'm also going to put social media posts. I'm going to give you some suggested social media posts and some things that you can share on social media to let people know that this is a huge weekend and you want to see them come back. All right. So again, if that has value to you, let me know in the chat. Just drop a me. And what I will do for those of you who take advantage of this, who grab this, and who step into this training, I will make sure that I will have this to you tomorrow before lunchtime. It'll be in your members area. I'll send you an email and a text letting you know that it's there, and so you can start immediately putting those things together. You can start immediately getting them out there so that people can make it happen. All right. So I see we got We got a few viewers on Twitter, on X. And so what I will do is I'm going to put the link for this in my bio, the link for this follow-up resource in my bio, because since I can't kind of, it's challenging for me to post on all these different platforms at once. I'm just going to go ahead and put that link in my bio in just a second. And so if you just check the link in my bio in just a moment, once you click it and you refresh it, you will be able to see that there and you can take the next step. All right. Beautiful. So I'm going to work on that. But it looks like I think we've done a great job of answering your questions. I don't see any new questions coming through. And so I hope this was helpful. All right. Was this helpful for y'all? Was this worth it? Was this worth the 50 minutes that you guys have committed to come and jump in? If you jumped in late, I'm sorry. But as you can see on the screen, you can still see the things that we were covering. If you're watching inside our registration area, if you're watching outside of our registration area, you just hear me talking. You don't see the screen, but that's okay too. But I hope it was of value to you. All right, listen, let's do it, man. The kingdom is rising. I'm saying it over and over again. I was so overjoyed watching what God did in some of your churches this week, man. It just blessed my entire life, and I'm excited about it. But I want to keep that momentum going, maximize that momentum. Don't stop, don't quit, keep this thing going. Because there's so much to be had. All right, I'll give you a quick heads up. I'm getting ready, coming up in the next couple of days. I'm going to share about it probably tomorrow. But in about 2 weeks, I'm going to be hosting a webinar. And in this webinar, I am going to be dealing with AI and the church. So I'm going to be talking to you about how you can leverage AI to plan the next 6 months of preaching for your church. If you're a senior leader, you're a preacher, you're a pastor, but also how to get 1 million views, how to make sure that your message of the gospel gets viewed 1 million times, all right? For those in the boot camp, y'all know I've been demoing this. I've been beta testing this on myself, trying to get to 1 million views in 90 days. Well, when we get to this webinar, I'm going to tell you how that went. And then I'm going to unlock the blueprint because y'all know I don't gatekeep. And I'm going to tell you exactly how we did it. I'm going to give you the exact strategy for how we got there. And then I'm going to help you see how you can take the next step. All right. This particular webinar is going to be hosted inside of a new Facebook group that we're creating just for this purpose. And so I'll be sharing that with you tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned. You check out my Facebook page. You'll see it in my YouTube shorts, all of that. I'm going to be dropping some info on what we're doing and how we're doing it. So I would love for you to come in and be a part of that webinar. And we're going to help you get the word out, man. What I know is that far too many leaders, far too many pastors, far too many churches waste their sermons. You spend all that time and energy and anointing writing a sermon, preach it for 30 minutes, and then it disappears, never to be used again. Well, one of the things that we're going to do in this webinar is I'm going to show you how you can turn one sermon into more than 30 pieces of content and how you can help it really, really make a difference in your church and for the people that you're called to serve. All right, listen, I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for coming to hang out, man. I hope that this was a blessing to you. My goal was to provide you with some value that will make a difference in your life and in the church. All right. So listen, you got questions, you got the link. It's on there if you want to grab those templates. If you grab those templates, I will make sure that you get them tomorrow morning before lunch, and you'll have them there with you. But listen, let's go and take the world for the kingdom. All right. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.